Hey,
Hey, Craig, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I had probably the most stressful day I've had in ages yesterday.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Do tell.
I will. Why are you smiling? You seem to be in an awfully good mood, which is great.
Well, I had a great day yesterday. Well, mostly a great day yesterday. Kind of a bit of a hiccup in the middle with my dad's doctor's appointment. But other than that, I had two calls yesterday, and then I just got off my call with the Hallmark folks
Yep.
just now and had a great. This module was on coaching. So it was kind of like, I don't know, what's supposed to be my bread and butter now.
Went well?
So yeah, it went really well. They were I don't know if it's early in the morning or they're just so kind of preoccupied with this call getting in the way of them getting their day started.
Yep.
But they're kind of slow to start. Like you got to kind of poke them along and say, okay, like anyone want to share a story or whatever. So anyway, then they loosen up, and then it's like next thing you know, it's like, oh shit, we're out of time. Got to go.
Yeah,
So
dynamics are interesting that way.
yeah.
What else happened yesterday? What was,
Well, I had a coaching call in the morning with one of
yep.
these managers. So one of the things I did over and above what was paid for was I offered to do one-on-one coaching with everyone in the group.
Hmm.
I offered them two coaching one-on-one coaching sessions. So one person has taken me up on it so far. So yeah, we had she was the assistant manager. Now she's the manager.
Hmm.
And so like anyone making that leap, like the things that she's having a difficult time with is kind of adjusting to the new role, delegating,
Yep.
letting go of tasks that she was good at, but also liked doing as the assistant, that now she has other stuff she needs to be doing while she's the manager. So anyway, it was that was a really great conversation. And then at night, I had my first in my CAMEL program, which is coaching and mentoring for leaders. So I
Hmm.
had my first call for that course, which was really, really positive. So everything that I got good feedback on the content of the course.
Who was, how many participants did you get?
Oh, just one, just Andre.
It's fantastic.
So yeah, but it's good. It's that impact model I showed you before. It's impact yourself, impact your team, impact your business. So that's kind of the structure of the course. So module one is impact yourself. So it was a lot about time management. I think I talked to you about it. I got that thing from that Graham Norton guy, who's a Kajabi guy, about using the best part of yourself, the best version of yourself every day for what's important to you. Like most people go in and the first thing they do is open up email, and they when they're the freshest and most productive, they use that time to do all kinds of things that other people want them to do versus what's important to them. So I built that into this course in terms of trying to figure that out. And I invented a worksheet in that course called a calibration worksheet, where throughout the course of the day, you're measuring happiness, stress, and productivity, red, yellow, or green.
Yep.
And the idea is just to get a sense for like, when are you the happiest? When are you the most stressed out? When are you the most productive, or conversely, the least productive? Anyway, the feedback was that they really enjoyed that, found that helpful to collect that data.
Yep.
So yeah, it's one of those things where I feel you feel good when like you had some crazy idea and you just put it together, and then somebody started using it. They said, hey, that's really good. And you're like, yes.
Wow.
So and then I just got an assessment back from one of the girls on the Hallmark course. She was off for 3 weeks because she was away for her wedding and then honeymoon. So she's just in the process of catching up, but she submitted a survey from module 3 or whatever. And again, it was like, she loved this one. Was on there's a matrix I made up, which was you basically, you write down on the chart all your staff, all the tasks that need to be done in your store down
Mhm.
the side, then across the top, all your staff, and then you check off who is competent in which tasks.
Mhm.
And very quickly you identify where the
Yeah.
gaps are, so that you can say, okay, well, here I need to do more training in this area with these people and whatever. Anyway, so it was, again, just a lot of complimentary stuff about how great this tool is, and they're going to use it on an ongoing basis to evaluate their team, blah, blah, blah. So it's like another one, like, yes, I made something that somebody's finding useful. So
Bravo.
yeah. So that's why I'm smiling today.
There are many reasons to smile, as it turns out. Well, I got the RBC gig, at least it seems that way. So I'm gonna be consulting / filling in for a year with them.
Yeah.
So this is a year contract.
These were the folks that said they weren't going to be making any offers.
No, that was the cooperators.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, I've been through a lot. No, this one was surprisingly fast and easy, and I got this through an agency, so as a contractor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in as my company, and we'll see. It's essentially a delivery kind of role. So
yeah.
Very similar to what we've done in terms of products. It's only going to be complicated by the politics of the group, but this is not the same. Although it's also under the umbrella of RBC, it's a team that sits here versus I was there, so it's not even the same part of the bank. Okay. And it's a good thing. It's a completely 100% remote, so I'm very happy about that.
Good for you.
But it's gonna adjust our cadence of communications a bit. So I'll have to figure that out.
As you know, my schedule is incredibly flexible. So
well, we'll see what my schedule is going to look like. It's
when's that start?
That's actually a very interesting question. It's either the 28th of September or the 4th of October.
Okay.
So I'm still yet to confirm that. And that created, once they said, yeah, sure, we'd like you to come be a contractor, that created a whole flurry of forms that need to be filled in.
Yeah.
It's just been incredible how many forms there have been. And it's just crazy. But at the same time, my dad's closing was coming up, and everything I tried to mitigate, the past email, I was emailing everyone and saying, look, I need this kind of info in order to not to rush everything. My dad's money is with Tangerine. To have the money wired, they need a certain amount of time. All of that stuff.
Yeah. Nothing
happened, and yet yesterday I got the documents from the lawyer, and it's like, oh yeah, if you don't have the money, you're going to be in breach of contract. I was like, you motherfuckers! This is exactly what I was trying to avoid, because I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and then you have to he needs to an agreement with a utility company, with a appliance rental company, all of that stuff, which he's not comfortable doing himself, so I have to do all of that for him.
Yeah.
So it's been a nightmare of a day administrative wise, and by the end of the day, my head was not only about to explode, but I had such a massive headache. So I basically passed out early yesterday.
Well, it sounds like a day of red tape.
It certainly is a day of red tape.
Red tape is my most hated thing. I know it's necessary in a lot of cases, but it's like, I feel the frustration that you have when you know exactly what is going to happen, and you do everything you can to prevent it. Yeah. And then it happens anyway, and you're like, son of a bitch.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. funny, and I don't know if this is the case, but like when we moved our mortgage from some, I don't know, lending company, I forget the name of it, to Scotiabank, it was like there was probably a week where like we were in limbo. Like the bank was taking their sweet ass time doing what they needed to do and whatever. And of course they're the bank, so they're like, we just do whatever we want. Who cares? Yeah. And it all seemed to work out. But here I was nervous, like, I'm going to lose my house because, technically I'm in a breach of contract with the previous lender because they haven't been paid yet, or I'm going to have penalties or whatever. Like, it's causing a lot of stress. But it's one of these things where like all these big institutions, they play by their own rules and there's no penalty for them or whatever. But if it's down to you as an individual customer and you miss like something by 1 second, nope, you're punished, and it's punitive compensation, blah blah, and you're like, you freaking clowns.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, and also to top that off, so those were two big things, and there was, like I said, there was a lot of paperwork, an obscene amount of paperwork, because it's all like credit check, background checks, and it has to be filled a number of places, all of that stuff. But then, because I'm coming in as a company and not as an individual, I also had to call the CRA, reinstate, because I wasn't filing my HST. I didn't need an HST account. I wasn't making any money. So now I needed to reinstate my HST account, and I had to book an appointment with the bank to go open a business account so I can get a business card so I can charge to it, because I'm going to be expensing against this like there's no tomorrow. Yeah,
it's good. And I guess you just invoice them, and so they're not taking any tax off or anything, and you just
essentially. So essentially, it's the company that they're signing a contract with my company. So I'm going to be creating a whole lot of expenses as much as I can.
I know when I worked for Sobeys originally, I was an independent contractor, and every 2 weeks I had to submit an invoice, and then I actually got to the point where I would literally print my invoice off and walk it down to the person's cubicle and say, here's my invoice. Can you make sure it gets processed today? Because if you just sent it to them, it would sit on their desk for 2 weeks.
Well, in this particular case, it's good thing that I don't have to do that. So they will do the standard bi-weekly payment. So I'll just need to provide them an account.
And then I love the fact that at the time too, like because you're getting full pay. You're not getting they're not taking the tax off. And then, you got to work out obviously the tax implications with your accountant or whatever. I do
believe that to be the case. Honestly, have never walked in these shoes. So, but I do believe that to be the case. So,
what's cool, because when you do the accounting, like it's a business, right? So it's revenue. It's not a salary. So
it's revenue. Well, yeah.
So you don't get taxed on the revenue. You get taxed on
the net income.
Your net. So it's good. So, see, now you can upgrade. You can buy a new camera.
Well, microphone would be first, but
microphone. Get the Blue Yeti.
Yeah, but I'm going to talk to my accountant, because I have, like both you and I have bought a whole slew of software and signed up for different things throughout the year. And I am going to put this against the business, because it was against the business. It's just I never had a business account. So, well,
if you think about it, all that infrastructure, if you want to call it that, is setting you up to get to this point. So it's legitimate business expenses.
Well, of course it is. And I mean, so it's not even about being sneaky about that or anything of that nature. It's just the way it is. And and any sort of subscriptions that happen throughout the year, it's all this. And by the way, it's also good because it's internet and cell phone, unless it's been provided, it's also part of the expense.
Cool. Will you get a bank issued computer, or do they?
I would imagine so. Knowing banks, there's no way in hell that you will be accessing their systems without proper controls. I would imagine so.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So you must feel kind of ecstatic on the one hand and kind of nervous, or I don't know, mixed feelings on the other.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah, I didn't even have to say that. You're absolutely right. So on the one hand, yeah, it's a stream of income, but there are other projects on the go. It does. You immediately feel the trade-off between income and creative freedom. So
Yeah.
creative freedom doesn't pay,
Yeah.
but income does. So, but I'm still on the weekends and evenings. So my real estate thing, I mean, I promised Mesh that I would help him out. So
Yeah.
it doesn't die. I'm going to continue doing my buy sell business in Canada, because that thing is only working if it has kind of longevity and
Yeah.
if you've been around. But this also gives me the opportunity to maybe up my ad spending a bit, so continuously drive traffic to it.
Yeah.
Solo business is parked essentially, but other than that, yeah, everything's the same. Well, yeah, and I'll see what time commitment is required, what the dynamics of the team are, because there apparently are. What was I told? Yeah, so there's at least 8 people reporting into this role.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're bank employees or they're contractors too?
No, they're all bank employees.
Yeah.
This contract is comes about because of the person who's doing it is doing a mat leave.
Okay. Is there a handover? You get to work with them before they leave? No.
No, I think she's going on mat leave like right this week or the week of next week.
Don't you love how companies are so stupid?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm that's a little worded a little strongly, but it's like, it's not like a mat leave sneaks up on people.
No, that's true. That's true.
Although maybe in the world of
true.
remote work, maybe it does a little more, because
it's hard to imagine that there would have been no candidates earlier.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my ticket was called. So if all my checks and balance, so background checks come back, which we never have had any issues with them. So then it's all a go. And yeah, I like the fact that it's a year.
Yeah.
If previously this would have created an unsettling feeling inside, right now I feel that I'm glad that it's a year. It's everyone, both them and I have a out.
Yeah.
And of course, as luck would have it, I just get a call from Metro from a position that I applied ages ago. So I talked to the recruiter yesterday about the director of insights or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I find out, you know how much Metro pays the director role? With all of the staff, there's also about 8 staff in reporting into this role.
Yeah.
Supporting all of Ontario banners. Give a wild guess.
150.
I wish. 110 to maybe 109 with a 25% bonus.
Oh.
Metro counterbalances that's not I was just, they said, how much do you want? I said, no, I want a 190, like all in with bonus. So about like 150, 160 base and a good healthy bonus. And it's just like, ooh. So they say they counterbalance that they have some ridiculously rich pension scheme.
Yeah.
Which pays your max salary of like 80% of your max salary for the rest of your life, which is unheard of. This is government style.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, to get to pension, you have to cover your monthly costs.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but it's kind of like, and I just get a second email saying, oh yeah, we really like you. Can we talk to you again? It's like,
yeah. It's funny. That's the job I applied for, I think, a year ago.
I think
they filled on it was a mat leave at the time. So so the lady.
You know who was going on mat leave? Do you remember her name by chance? I have a feeling that we've been in this situation. I think she's been promoted.
I want to say Pippa.
No, this is
Something,
Natalie Woisdard.
Yeah, Natalie is the boss.
Okay, so so whoever they hired basically didn't work out.
No, well, what happened was, so I had applied for that job. She was going on a mat leave.
Yeah.
And I had applied. I'd been to Metro a couple times for other jobs, and I met in to meet with Joe Fusco, who's the president in Ontario, and Carmen Fortino, who's I don't know what his job is, but I know him from Loblaws, whatever.
Yeah, anyways, I know both of those guys.
Yeah. So there's another guy there, Mike Thompson, who's the vice president of merchandising for Basics, and then Pat Horan is a senior guy on loyalty. So those Mike and Pat, I was good friends with from Loblaws. So I phoned them, and they both put in a good word for me. And then I found out that Natalie is actually good friends with Brian Ross. So I'd emailed Brian and asked him if he could give me a reference to Natalie, which he said, yeah, he'd be happy to. And then when I interviewed with her, anyway, long story short, they ended up hiring Ray Hepworth.
Who?
This guy named Ray Hepworth.
Okay. Who's he?
So Ray, he's not like Joe Fusco when he worked at Loblaws. He brought Ray Hepworth in. So him and Ray is basically Joe's guy. I mean, they have a long-standing relationship. So I couldn't figure out at the time why I didn't get the job, because I had like Brian Ross going to bat for me. I had Mike Thompson going to bat for me. I had Pat Horn going to bat for me, and I still didn't get the job. And then I saw the announcement that it was Ray Hepworth. So I thought, you know what? That's fair. I know Ray. I worked with Ray at Loblaws. He's a
VP grocery merchandising at Metro now.
Yeah. So Mike Thompson just retired, and Ray Hepworth has moved over. I guess that mat leave is probably over now.
Hold on. So he moved from a director into a VP?
Yeah, but I think he'd been a senior person before. So this is just their way to get him into the business. I'm sure they had this master plan all along. And so Mike is retiring. Ray is moving into his role. And now I don't know if the girl, I'd have to look up her name, that was in the position that went on mat leave.
Yeah, that was I'm looking
anyway, when I saw that posting come out recently, and I was like, hey, I should apply for that. And then I thought, you know what, the reality is I don't want to work there. Well, not just there. I don't really want to work anywhere.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that was
so Natalie Voizard was the because I had emailed her trying to find Philippa, that was her name. Philippa McLeod was the lady that went on mat leave.
Oh, she was at Loyalty One. I see. That's how Brian knows her.
Natalie, yeah.
Oh, she's in Quebec.
Yeah, she works out of Montreal.
Okay. Anyway, so that's
interesting.
It's interesting, but it's also telling that this is one of those jobs where, like, if they're paying 120, they're free to find a person, unless there's a view to growth.
Yeah,
very quick one, like Ray's. But I mean, you're right. Ray's, this was just a placeholder title.
Yeah,
because all of his titles previously were VP and Sobeys and Loblaw. So you would never take a director unless you knew that you were up for promotion.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's that.
Well, good for you. I'm happy for you. Sad for me, but happy for you.
Why is it sad for you?
Well, no, just that you'll be otherwise preoccupied.
Yeah,
but that's okay. I know this is it's just an adjustment period. So
it's just yeah, we'll see, this is one of those situations. I would like to get this ability to work on contracts if
Yeah.
possible going forward, because that would be ideal.
Yeah.
This would be ideal. Why is it?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like when I got called from that bakery to do some work for them, I kind of was thinking like, it wouldn't be so terrible to if you could get some arrangements with various companies to do like contracting work with them on a part-time basis, right? Where it was like, 2 or 3 days a week, or 5 days a week, but only like mornings or something, where it was manageable, that you could have a steady stream of income and security, but also have time to do other stuff. But
yeah, the only thing that I feel about part-time is, one, with companies, part-time is never really part-time. Oh yeah, by the way, we need to think about when we do our podcast.
Yeah.
We can do it over lunch.
Yeah.
Or
we can do it at lunch in the evening, and whatever. Like I said,
yeah, but I don't like none of this should I don't want this to go away.
Yeah. Good.
So yeah, because one, companies, especially bigger companies, tend to overstretch your part-time beyond the actual hours. But two, if you get a couple of part-time gigs, then it becomes tremendously stressful balancing all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I always operate under the assumption that, or when I think about stuff like that, like, and it's probably misguided, but like, I'm so good that I can do, what they think should take me half a day, I can do in 2 hours or, or whatever. But, anyways.
Well, in this particular situation, I'll see how, because this role at a bank, and I did not know this when I was going in, because I went in as a senior director. Senior director at RBC. RBC is huge. Like that's a very, very serious title.
You bend over, the sun shines out.
Huh?
When you bend over, the sun shines. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Senior director.
Pretty much. I did not, but I didn't realize that. I mean, I never had experiences with such established hierarchical business. I never had because director in the world that I've been in, and even at MRM, it's always was flexible. It's kind of like, oh yeah, you can be a director, and it means a manager or anything like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this time I'll try to be smarter about this, because this means like delegating the heck out of it. And anyway, we'll see how this plays out. It's interesting. I have the same feeling as I had when I was going to Pressima. Because recall, I started my business and Natalie and I we were running out of cash. The first year was brutal. We overestimated our income and underestimated our expenses, basically. Like any entrepreneur would. So at the end of the year, it was decided that I have to find a job, and we had to. So we had 2 girls in the store, so we trimmed it down to 1 person in the store at a time. Anyway, big changes. But when I came to Pressima, I always viewed it as temporary. It's like a transition. So I'll work here until the stores goes up, and then I'll quit.
Yeah.
Long and behold, it turned into 5.5 years.
Yeah.
You
ever read The Alchemist?
Huh?
Have you read The Alchemist?
I don't remember it though.
Yeah, there's a like the guy's on his journey, and he ends up at some crystal shop or whatever. It's been years since I read it too, but it was the same kind of thing. It was like the takeaway I took was that it was like, and I viewed Pressima for myself as that crystal shop too. It was like, this is a temporary stopgap measure. And just like in the book, you go there thinking, oh, I'll be here for a year, and then 7 years later, you're like, fuck, I'm still here. Anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember I joined the company, and this was still early days of Pressima, so there was no onboarding, there was nothing of that nature, and plus you also had to deal with the fact that Pressima is was at the time an appendage of Loyalty One.
Yeah,
it was, remember those town halls? This is the time when Pressman, nobody talked about Pressman because we had no clients, we had no revenue. We were not on any map.
Yeah.
So it felt like you're working in a company that nobody cares about, nobody knows about. And I was shipped over to Loblaw because that was category strategy was starting. So Ray and I started, and we both were shipped off to Loblaw. So we didn't even have the ability to meet anyone in the office. So anytime I would come to the office, I had no one to talk to. I remember that my first 2 years, I hated Carson's guts. I thought he was a pretentious dick.
Yeah.
And
who knew that playing ping pong at Spin was going to change your life?
Well, yeah, that's true. And I mean, and Carson, Carson, I have all the time in the world for. I think he's a very pragmatic, practical person who he's also one of those few people who can figure shit out.
Yeah.
He's a great generalist, but he can figure stuff out.
Yeah.
So if we were starting a company like you and I, he would be a perfect addition because he's also about doing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and he's very broadly skilled. Like you said,
well, he's broadly skilled, but he's unlike me. He's mild-mannered, but he will not take bullshit.
Yeah.
So he will always call it out. But again, there was no way to find out who people were because you were shipped off. So for me, it felt perfectly transitory. No.
Yeah.
What's the word? Not permanent. It felt like, it's a home for now. Look, paychecks coming in every 2 weeks. That's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter how long I stay.
Yeah.
But you're right. I should reread The Alchemist because it's maybe that's the way. Maybe that's the way. Maybe this is something we talk about on a podcast. Maybe this is the way to approach the world. And I'll pull out The Alchemist and see where that we talk about that, because if
the other takeaway I had from The Alchemist, which I've only really understood more recently with the coaching I've been doing, is that he goes through all these trials and tribulations to get to the end, to realize that where he was trying to get to was where he began. And it's and to me, it's the inside out nature of life, is that, what you're looking for, you already have. It's already inside you. So we spend so much time searching for things outside of ourselves when all along it was right there. So anyway, it's I think this is good for you. I think it's takes a lot of pressure off.
It does take pressure off. Yeah.
And I think it'll be, a year. You'll have some choices to make and stuff, but you'll be further along. What's this? Your default microphone has changed to microphone. Okay. You can still hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had for some reason, a pop-up came up about my microphone. Cool. Well, my it's not a job, but my real estate friend, I texted him last week because the house is the same model as mine. I think I've told you before.
Yep.
Down the other corner of the crescent.
Yep.
It was sold 6 months ago or whatever for 1.2 million. They did some renos, and then it's been sitting on the market. Well, it just sold. So I texted them to find out what it sold for, because they'd listed it for 1.46. It sold for 1.4 million. So whatever, 5-6 months ago, it was 1.2 million. So now it's 1.4 million. So I said, I should just go celebrate. I feel like I just made 200 grand.
Well, you know that you can look up all of the history of sales and purchase on House Sigma.
Yeah, no, I know. There's House Sigma. There's another app a friend of mine, my daughter's friend's dad has. I forget what it's called, but as long as you sign up for it, and you can get access to whatever.
Cool.
But
anyway,
yeah. So the way I look at that is that as long as the value of my property keeps appreciating, then I'll be just fine. I just bought myself more runway.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a brand new community center that's opening up next week. Just like I could hit a 9-iron off the roof of it from my house, which is adding to the property values around here. So, well,
the thing is, I'm pretty certain that this is not going to require waiting for the house appreciation to get some money into the bank.
Yeah.
Did you reach out to people like you were planning to about your program?
Which
The
one?
HR teams, the leadership for managers?
The coach.
Coaching, yeah. Sorry, not coach, not leadership, coaching, yeah. Services.
Yeah, coaching for mental health. Not
Oh,
yet. I did a post on Monday. Was it Monday? Where I did a post on LinkedIn as my initial kind of feeler out there, with the intent this week of reaching out to people directly to say, if did you see my post? Blah blah blah.
yeah.
So it was I think the post I did was, it was positioned as question: do you see the mental health of your organization as a strategic pillar?
Mhm.
And then some other verbiage or whatever, but yeah. So my plan, like this morning, I was thinking of a whole bunch of things, that program, my retail leadership for retail managers program, and so on, as from now till the end of the year, of trying to position it and market it to people as a 2022 program.
Yep.
Get your, now's the time to plan for 2022. Here's some ideas, some programs, blah, blah, blah. Because I'd love to get some business set up for the new year. Oh, and I invented a new thing. Let me show you.
No way.
Let's see.
Holy mother of God.
Do you run a small business or a store? Do you provide your employees with basic phone skills training? Phone skills is something we've mostly taken for granted over the years. With the explosion of smartphones, phone skills are becoming a lost art. Luckily, it's so simple to give your staff an opportunity to brush up on their phone skills and get the basics down before they interact with your customers. Every customer interaction is precious and a reflection of your business. Make sure you're setting your staff up for success. Our formula is simple. Repetition equals confidence equals success.
That's very well done. That is very well done.
So this was predicated off my daughter working at Hallmark saying she's got to answer the phone. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. And I thought, you think about it, like teenagers,
they wouldn't know.
No one has ever answered a phone in their life.
That's true. That's actually a very, very salient point.
Yeah. So here I'll show. This is the. This is funny too. I figured out in Kajabi. As I'm preparing for my things, I've been watching them back at like 1.5 or 2 times speed, so you can get through them really quickly. And once you get used to the fact that your voice sounds exactly.
Yeah, I found that to be quite useless, because why does every icon has a border around it?
Oh, I don't know. This is a design that PowerPoint did.
Yep.
So examples, hello, goodbye, hours of operation, location and directions, inventory questions, pricing special, sales questions, services questions, other common questions, returns and receipts.
You did this all already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I did this on, was it Monday night?
Greg.
So that's my next $1 million idea.
Why don't look? I have a question, and I know you want to do all this by yourself. Is there a reason why you wouldn't just go and see if there are any services or companies or agencies right now catering to the real estate? Like remember, oh man, no, you were not with me with Maple Leaf. There was a company that was doing. They had an office space next to the Financial Drive, like business park area. And they were doing all sorts of training. You could rent a room if you didn't want anything, or they had trainers and they were offering like different stuff.
Yeah.
have you looked into that? Because you already have content. It's not like you're bringing in, oh yeah, I want part of your business. No, it's like, guys, I have content. I just need to reach out. There's a certain percentage I'm willing to pay you if you put me in front of the clients.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm open I mean, it's funny you say that because I've been thinking about not that specific scenario, but like the use of affiliates and trying to figure out like how to get,
Yeah, I just discovered that. I just realized that affiliates is another word for kickbacks.
an audience, and it's like, whether it's posting some of these things on Udemy or other platforms, whatever, like that phone skills thing, like it's going to be very basic, like and it's going to be like $5 or $10 or something, and it's just and targeted at small retail businesses or whatever. And I was also going to think about adding it into my my teens program, which is like, here's another thing in the bundle. If you buy leadership for teens and intro to grocery retail and phone skills training,
right,
whatever. But I got to figure out how to tap into that teenage market better.
That's a very interesting idea.
I mean, when I talked to my sister-in-law, she teaches leadership at her high school. I mean, she talked about getting in with the school board and all this kind of stuff. So there's avenues to approach some of those things for sure.
Well, this has been an exciting episode. We should label it as such. I will label it as such. I gotta go.
All right.
So, I'll see you tomorrow.
You will indeed.
You will indeed.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
Greg.
Okay. Bye.